Hello learners, I am Dr. Arvind Dasti, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Sri Narayana Guru Open University. In this session, I will be introducing the topic Neoclassical Age, which is the third unit of Major Periods of Literature 1. In the vast variety of literary history, the Neoclassical Age stands as a pivotal period, weaving together the threads of ancient wisdom and Enlightenment ideals. Let us unravel the essence of Neoclassicism, exploring its artistic principles, societal transformations, and the emergence of key literary figures. At its core, Neoclassicism sought to revive the grandeur of Greco-Roman art and literature. Originating in the 17th century France, this movement advocated the imitation of classical ideals in various art forms, embracing the new belief that classical standards represented perfection. So, the Neoclassicism. So, Neoclassicism means the new classicism. These Neoclassicists try to revive the early classical works. They believed the early classical works were perfect. They tried to revive the earlier Greco-Roman art and literature. Now, we can look at the Neoclassical rules. Neoclassical literature adhered to the strict rules including decorum, verisimilitude, purity of forms and genres, and unities of time, place, and action. By emphasizing decorum and harmony, the Neoclassicists dictated that literary works should align with the social norms and maintain internal and external consistency. Next, we can look at the artistic principles during the Neoclassical period. The Neoclassics approached art as a scientific endeavor, drawing inspiration from philosophies like Aristotle and Horace. The hierarchy of genres classified tragedy and epic as high forms, discouraging the mixing of high and low genres. Artistic value was often measured by mimesis, echoing Plato's belief that art is the imitation of reality. Next, we have a look at the contrast between Neoclassicism and Renaissance. Contrasting with the Renaissance, Neoclassicism viewed art as a product of conscious study rather than spontaneous creativity. While the Renaissance celebrated humanism, Neoclassicism acknowledged human imperfections, advocating self-restraint and objectivity. Next, the Neoclassical Age, which is from 1660 to 1785. The Neoclassical Age unfolded against the backdrop of significant historical events in England. The restoration of Charles II marked the end of the Puritan rule, leading to the formation of political fractions, growth of the middle class, and England's expansionist policies. The emergence of political factions, the Tories and Whigs, marked the period alongside England's growth as a colonial power. With trade and commercialism rising, the middle class expanded, fostering a demand for literary entertainment, leading to the birth of magazines, newspapers, and novel. Next, we can have a look at the salient features of Neoclassicism. The Neoclassical Age embraced the ideals of order, symmetry, and harmony, fostering elegance in structure and form. It witnessed the birth of journalism, the development of novels, and the rise of commercialism, shaping the cultural and societal landscape of the time. The Neoclassical period is further divided into several other periods. First of all, the Restoration era, which is from 1660 to 1700. As its name signifies, the Restoration era is period during which the monarchy was restored in England. With the crowning of Charles II in 1660, the Stuart line was restored and continued its reign in England till 1700. The most influential and representative writer of the Restoration was John Dryden, so much so that the period itself is referred to as the Age of Dryden. Moreover, Dryden is also considered to be the first neoclassical critic. The Restoration Age is regarded as the greatest age of comedy and satire in English literature. The Restoration Age is regarded as the greatest age of comedy and satire in English literature. With the restoration of the monarchy, the Puritan ban on the theatres was lifted. Drama re-entered English life and society as theatres reopened all across England. Next, we come to the Augustan era, which is from 1700 to 1745. The era of neoclassical writers who followed the conventions of these classic Roman poets such as Virgil, Horace and Ovid came to be known as the Augustan era in English. The Augustan age, named after the Roman Emperor Augustus, was marked by the dominance of Alexander Pope and Jonathan Swift. Pope perfected the rhymed couplet and satirical verse, while Swift's Gulliver's Travel became the scathing critique of political and religious events. Next, we can have a look at the Augustan age prose and novelists. Joseph Addison and Richard Steele pioneered the periodical essay, reflecting the essence of the Augustan era. Meanwhile, novelists like Samuel Richardson, Daniel Defoe and Henry Fielding contributed significantly to the evolution of the novel as a literary form. Next, we come to the next era, the age of sensibility, which is from 1744 to 1789. As the neoclassical spirit waned, the age of sensibility emerged, emphasizing emotion, instinct and imagination. Dr. Samuel Johnson, a towering literary figure, contributed to various genres, marking the period known as the Age of Johnson. We can have a look at the novel of sensibility now. The novel of sensibility, pioneered by writers like Laurence Sterne and Franz Burney, shifted focus from action to emotional responses. Anticipating the romantic moment, Sterne's Tristram Shandy and Burns' Evelina exemplified this literary shift. Next, we can have a look at the drama of the age. As a reaction against sentimental comedy, a new genre known as anti-sentimental comedy was developed by playwrights like Oliver Goldsmith and Richard Sheridan during this period. Anti-sentimental comedy, developed by playwrights such as Oliver Goldsmith and Richard Sheridan, offered a witty and moral alternative to the indecency of Restoration drama. Next, we can have a look at the poetry of transition. In the twilight of the neoclassical era, the graveyard school of poetry emerged, and they explored themes of mystery, melancholy and mortality through elegies, foreshadowing the Gothic novel. Thomas Gray's elegy, written in a country churchyard, and Edward Young's Night Thoughts exemplify this transition. The neoclassical age, with its adherence to classical ideals, scientific approach to art and societal transformations, played a crucial role in shaping the literary landscape. As it gave way to Age of Sensibility, the echoes of its principles resonated in the pages of history, influencing the evolution of literature for generations to come. With this, I am winding up this session. Thank you. Until next time.